All right, I guess we are live. Before we do anything, we're going to be just checking the quality of the microphone here and make sure everything's running neat. Of course, you got my co-host right here, and of course, that's appropriate enough for October because we're in the scary month, which is also probably much my favorite month of the entire year, aside from my favorite day, which is my birthday. Other than that, I just like to start off by saying Happy October and happy close to being to Halloween. This is a surprise night stream that I'm doing right now, and I kind of figured it'd be kind of the right time. Um, just a few things we're going to be going over with, and probably some other things as well. But for right now, I think what I'm going to do is I need to have control of the chair. Gonna set my co-host right over here for right now, and he's just gonna be monitoring. So do me a favor, buddy. Can you just put your hands right there on top, make it easier for me to do that? Thank you. And I will only be for a little moment. Let me to adjust that. Okay. So, back again. Last time I did my live stream, I was going over a few things, going over a few certain questions, and also going over certain type of issues that I was talking about, and some miscellaneous things as well. So kind of to get things going, and I can see you by the way too, Raven. I can see what you're typing. So howdy. Um, well, there are a few things we do need to tackle on here, and like I said, this is a night surprise visit, but I figured this is kind of the appropriate time to do this. I've actually had a long day, by the way, a very important day at work. I'm not going to specify what that is because I like to keep the confidential information about where I work off the internet. That being said, there are certain things in personal or certain things on YouTube that I do really need to kind of tackle on the issue here. Now, if some of you were around during that whole upload that I had about the Lee Mansuk debate, which we're not going to do any more videos on that, no more debate videos with that person. The third attempt that we did was pretty much us waiting patiently for Lee Mansuk, who was the person who was pretty much griping and complaining at us that we were being conservatives because we cared about the well-being of kids. I'm sorry, I can't even phrase this right. We were pretty much concerned or pretty much on the opposition against people like pedophilia, which does harm to kids, and he wanted to just promote and preach um, the sort of thing that we were pretty much saying that, oh, we're conservative because we care about what the hell happens to kids against these, pitiful grown ass sick adults. And he wanted to tell me that, oh, what I'm just doing is just so close minded. It's just not, in the right level of thinking as everyone else, when that's completely far from the truth. And I even knew that the 99% that were with me could even tell past that guy's bullshit. So that third recording that I did with Damien Skyfire, we were waiting patiently because Lee Mansuk had also promised Damien Skyfire to do a debate with him. Took him forever and pretty much just was not paying attention, and it's just not worth it anymore. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to tell you this is the final time that I will ever take the acknowledgement to that. And I agree, everyone can see past this brain dead bullshit. What I do propose is that you block him out of your life and that you leave him out. If he tries anything like harassing you, block him out of your life. It's just not worth it. Just remember, you are not under any obligation to keep people that you do not like, around. Okay, just because if something like that happens does not mean that you are obligated to keep them. There's nothing wrong with blocking them. I'm not saying, oh, censor people, from their freedom of speech. Not at all. But the thing is, you are not required to have these kind of people around you, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be people like that. It could be people that ram their shit down your throat. There was something I actually wanted to go over real quick before I kind of move on to the next topic right here. And there's something, let's just say, an old adversary of mine had came back to tell me something, which I kind of find a little ridiculous. But at the same time, I found this in the well balanced of things in some way, but I kind of find it odd. But from Mr. SM, which I will just refer you to in the 2 syllables there, he says to me, it was basically the response to my thrash metal guru versus pedo apologist round 2 video. So 3 days ago, he tells me, You've used facts and logic to identify a problem and used good debating methods to identify that his ideology causes harm and loss to others. Of course, when I did this to you, you accused me of shoving my views down your throat, and picking on a little kid went as far as threatening me just for taking a hypothetical scenario in order to educate you. Hope you've learned from this and learned from your own hypocrisy and doing well. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And I know exactly who sent me that. Here's the difference. And the one thing I will admit up to is that, yes, I actually did threaten that person. I didn't like the fact that he was using my family in that sort of scenario and at the same time trying to mock me as well. That's what I found completely out of the ordinary. Oh, gosh, my microphone sounds like shit. Let me try this. The problem with this, and you can even see the video for yourself, it's that video that I have of Combian that I made a response to where he shows himself on his own camera. And I'm just gonna at least just say this is that I did threaten that person. I threatened to bash a beer bottle over his head. I did. Now, am I gonna say that was right of me? Absolutely not. I went over the line. I'm going as far to admit that I went over the line with that. But I just don't like it when people use my family or use people very close to me in hypothetical scenarios and just try to make it into somebody. And not to mention, I already went over these certain points as well. But here's the funny and tough time I'm having a problem with is that the fact that the person is telling me, oh, I accuse the person of shoving their views down someone's throat, when in fact, this all started all because of that vegan games guy. That's pretty much where all this shit started. Yeah, the guy who self-admitted to recording his grandfather dying or suffering a heart attack because he wanted to blame it on the dietary choice. Now, I don't care at this point about how the relationship was. It does not matter at this point because as a human being, when you do shit like that, when you want to pretty much promote the fact that, or pretty much, if you want to pretty much, inverse the fact that maybe that the heart attack was probably caused by a big amount of stress and you want to just blame it on some sort of dietary choice, that's completely fucking ridiculous. But if it sort of happens, then okay, maybe there has to be some sort of moderation to it. But we don't know. No one knew the cause. But instead, we wanted to use, the products of meat as some sort of hypothetical boogeyman or to justify some means. But anyways, I'm getting off track here. The problem with what I was having with that statement is the fact that, yeah, that guy was shoving his views down my throat because I happened to say what I wanted to say about this sort of matter. And he wanted to compare the same exact things that I've been arguing about. And he wanted to compare it to the areas of pedophilia, which was baffling and just off the charts for me. And even about a lot of the other people found this ridiculous as it is. So I just don't understand how that came to be. And I'm having some sort of weird difficulty with my mic, which is so weird. But then again, the only thing that I'm really going to be sorry for in the fact of that response is I'm actually sorry for the fact that I actually did threaten to bash you over the head with a beer bottle. But that's as far as I'm going. There's really nothing for me to pretty much say or take back anything that I said. I know exactly what I said back in those videos I made over vegan gains and the responses I made to that certain person. I'm not sorry for any of it, except for that one thing. Does that mean that I'm going to, just brush it off? Maybe. I might brush it all off eventually, but when you keep bringing that sort of shit up, then it's kind of reminding me of the fact that this is kind of like something that kind of feels like you're stirring about, because I will admit that sometimes at my point in life, I can be a hypocrite. It's the one thing I can actually establish about myself, but it's really nothing in the regards of how you, Mr. SM, who I will refer to, are in the fact telling me about. That is the sort of issue I'm having with you. Hey, Kid Flash. This is just like a live stream thing. If you're interested in watching, So yeah, that's the thing. So I'm not sorry for any of that. If you want to go ahead and tell me exactly everything that you want to say to me, by all means do it and get it over with and move on with your life. Not that I'm saying that this is starting any shit, but it's really nothing to keep bringing up old shit that really no one cares about at this point, because that was so like 2 or 3 years ago. So I just suggest you just move on and do other shit. So I guess I can answer a question real quick. So what other metal genres do you like besides thrash? Well, I mean, I can go into classic, hard rock, a bit of mainstream, you could say, because Metallica mainstream, power metal, progressive, any other types. That's just, I'm not really into like the modern, like today's kind of thing, but in some way I am. It's kind of like early to a little bit of mid 2000s, in that sort of way. So that's the sort of genres that I do like there. Fixing my mic real quick. Yeah, I think I would actually do make a good exception for metalcore. Killswitch Engage, I believe, is an exception to that rule. I also like Trivium as well, so that's another example of metalcore I can get with. I think with melodic death metal is another way. Black metal, in some way, I do. That's Immortal, and that's also Venom. So that's the examples I use for that. Real quick. I have to send a quick message, and there we go. As I lay dying, not really. I don't really listen to them as much. For example, here's what I have as an example of like what I listen to on my wall. So you see, there's Black Sabbath, there's Metallica, there's Iron Maiden. Right below, there's Trivium, which I'm also going to be getting more album collection here soon. But that's the sort of stuff that I'm collecting for that sort of piece. And so, also to bring up people up to date, I'm actually doing. I'm still doing that project, the Try Not to Laugh project. Going along great with it. I've got a lot of things I still need to collect before I get that thing finished, but I have a lot going on for that. And something else that I actually needed to touch up upon was the whole Dragon Ball Z thing, which the new trailer that came out, which I love the shit out of it. But like the problem is there was like so many things that I just find kind of fundamentally wrong with it. And I know some people are going to disagree with me, but I really wish that special thing was still canon. I know. Get your jabs in on me if anyone else is watching this, but I just kind of find it kind of funny that we're still going to do that. But I think there was ways to finally just put that together without having to actually like throw that out the window. Because Bardock being my favorite character, I just kind of feel like this pushes everything that Bardock happened to have as a character. But at the same time, they might actually do something with Giants, which is pretty neat. Hey, Chelsea, how you doing? This is my surprise stream that I'm doing. I figured. So this is actually only going to last for an hour, but I figured this would be kind of like a good time to do, something here. But which accordance, I need to ask Stevie how he gets his stuff set up, because I really don't want it to just be like this boring show right here where I just talk. You know how he has like the post screening, and then he actually has like the music going on. He's got like these cards on the the screen. That's something I want to do with my channel, so I got to find a way to make that work. So with that in mind, I'm probably gonna message him here in just a moment. Okay, so while we're also on the topic of also blocking people out of your life, I kind of like a friend of mine kind of helped me stumble onto something from a certain individual who does not seem to understand the concept of leaving, leaving well enough alone. Let's put it at that. Certain person that I've actually dealt with a few times in the past, two of them in that regards, they don't understand that concept. One, not necessarily with me, or the two not necessarily with me, but in the general concept. Two individuals who, one I did kind of consider a friend back in the day, and he's just a complete nut job. I don't know what his problem is, but I really wish he would just stop harassing, my friends and all that, because now this person's going out of his way to do something kind of, not kind of, but, obviously rash, and pretty much something that kind of discredits or pretty much unfairly discredits somebody because of a mistake that they made back in the day. And I've gotten on to that certain person for the mistake that they made. I'll see. Facebook is being kind of funny, so I'll try to see about that. And so I honestly tried talking to this individual as a person, and he just tried to tear into me with all this random nonsense. I was trying to talk to him like an individual. I was trying to talk to him like a human being, trying to figure out what his problem was. All right, I'll catch you later, too, Raven. And the thing about it was that he wanted to keep going off on these these grand illusions that we were all horrible people, and that I was pretty much like the crowning gem to a certain group, that I was the most manipulated one out of all of them. Like, I was the most easily fooled, which was bullshit. Then there's another individual who I will not name, that a certain good friend of mine told me about, and admitted that he gets his kicks and fuel off of pretty much, I don't know, trying to tear in other people on their channels or trying to bully them off. Here's the problem I have with that. How is it that this person has bullied off people when we're still here? I'm still here. Other people that I know are still here. I don't want to give their names away because I don't want to give away pretty much how the context of that situation is. But there is no way in hell that bullying of that person ever worked, because we're still here. We're still doing the content. Just because, we're not often on our channels does not mean that we were bullied off. I mean, we've got other things that we have in our life we have to do. But that doesn't mean by the fact that we pretty much, got on our knees and pretty much had to bow to this celestial YouTuber who declares himself a god amongst other people. Granted, he's got a lot of narcissism, and pretty much he hides behind pretty much his own self-inflated ego, thinking that, oh yes, because people like myself and others just happen to be losers that have no idea what they're talking about. Now, granted, there hasn't been really much that has been said about me, but other people that I do know, in fact, and they constantly get pretty much harassed. Now, I'm not going to say that it's current or pretty much recently. However, though, it was brought up at the very end that pretty much the person, that him and his so-called group of flunkies, decides to get their kicks on us. Now, I know what certain people are going to say to me that are watching. Why do you keep talking about them? First of all, we're not given names for those who are watching, because for the safety of individuals and for the safety of others, I just want to say this because I want to project this lesson onto, my viewers, to my fans, to anyone who subscribed to me. You don't need people like that in your life. Same as what I said about the people before. You are not obligated to keep them around. If these people are dragging you down or trying to drag your name through the mud for some bullshit that happened, block them. You don't owe them an explanation. Nothing after that. You don't owe them anything. What you do is for you, not for anyone else. If they want to keep bitching about the fact that you block them because you don't want anything to do with them, I'd say that have a good reason to do it. Do it. Have a legit good reason to do it. Other than that, they don't owe you anything. Now, if you just block someone because you just feel like that's the sort of thing, or at least be straight up with them at least about it. Just when you feel like something doesn't seem right, be straight up with them at least about it. Okay? I'm not going to be the one to bitch about something. Like, if I was rightfully blocked by somebody and they were straight up with me about it, fine. But there were times where I was blocked by certain individuals on Twitter, Facebook, for the most bullshit reasons ever. And I've explained this before in my video when I was talking about the other person who was suffering his grand illusions, but this is another person I'm talking about, who I've worked with. And she told me, oh, well, I blocked you because my boyfriend told me that he didn't want me talking to you. Granted alone, here's the thing. I can be a flirty guy when it comes to chicks. But here's the thing. I know when to draw the line when it comes to certain things like that. And this person, I have never, and I will state this, I have never ever even gone as close to flirtation with that person before because I like to keep it at a professional level for the person I worked with. I did admit, though, that I actually had, a liking for that person. It's like I liked it. It's not really a bad thing, and I didn't really pretty much press forward with it. The only thing closest I have ever done was just ask this person out, just go watch a movie. I did that twice, not like that day or the day after, like one day here and then a few weeks after, because the one day, oh, well, she couldn't do it. Fine. Next few weeks, it's like, hey, I realized we didn't really go out and watch a movie. Would that be okay with you or anything like that? I'll pay for it, whatnot. Never happened. All this was actually around the same time that pretty much one chick who hooked up with me and gave me her phone number. She never really showed up to, hang with me or whatnot, but it's fine. It didn't really work out that way. And then pretty much that happened. I was like, okay, well, damn. I kind of felt like I was dancing around here, and I don't mean that in any other type of way. I just kind of felt like, wow, that just feels like I went through all this kind of for nothing. Now, it wasn't exactly at the same time. It kind of felt like, well, that happened. And then all of a sudden, when this shit happened, okay, wow, pretty much. But then transferring a few, years to that point just to tell me, oh, well, because my boyfriend doesn't want me talking to you. Okay, well, what exactly did I do to pretty much warrant that? I don't know. But that's the certain thing. I know for a fact when to draw the line somewhere. Hey, if a chick doesn't want me pretty much flirting with them anymore, fine, all means. Okay? I will never ever go to that length of pressuring somebody, calling them the B word. And I hate using the B word. I hate saying the word bitch. I do. Okay? The only time I will ever say that is when it comes to that extreme level. Okay? So I say this too. If you're flirting with a chick and she doesn't want to be pressured into doing something, don't pressure them. Okay? And if you don't get your way, don't call them a bitch. Be a gentleman about it. This goes to all my, male watchers here. All my guy subscribers, to all the dudes out there. Be a gentleman, okay? Don't be an asshole. Don't be a complete prick. Be respectful to the women that you talk to, okay? Now, unless they are pretty much saying something shitty about your family or something about someone very close to you that you love, then by all means, I can't stop you from doing exactly that. But if you try talking to a woman and they don't feel comfortable talking to you, be a gentleman and just be respectful. That's it. That is merely all I ask. Okay? I've learned my lessons from a lot done, and I like to project these lessons to you guys. I want my subscribers, I want people that watch me to be better about themselves. But I don't want to be that sort of person that pretty much has that cult mentality of this is what you're supposed to do, now do it my way. And I agree. And so that's the thing. And I too sometimes have my point where I feel like I'm pressing the envelope. The thing about it is I don't ever want to do something that pisses off somebody with any intent at all. I like to be proper about that. And thank you for the word. That's the word I was looking for. I like to be proper. I like to be calm about things, and I like to be a gentleman about it. Does not mean by any means that I'm going to be an asshole and call a woman a bitch because I didn't get my way, or she doesn't want to talk to me, or there's no romance that we just wanted to kind of be a gentleman, just be nice, and just, hey, you know what? Worst case scenario, a girl rejects you. Well, it's fine. Like I said, there's plenty of fish in the sea, and I know that's the old saying. I've learned that the hard way, but you know what? That is pretty much how life itself works, and you can't really, sink your head in the sand because of shit like that. So you got to learn from it. Just be at ease. That's what I ask. So real quick, I'm gonna dive into some shit real quick, and I'll be right back in just a moment. To be continued. One sec. Okay. You know I had to do this. All right. So, with that in mind, I pretty much got that other stuff out of the way, which is good because now it's off my chest and I can move on to other stuff. So, what I was going to do, there was a video I had in mind that I wanted to watch over, and I want to make sure it's still here. Yes, okay. So, here's one thing, and I'm pretty sure it's nothing here, and I don't really want to kind of stay long on this, but there is also kind of another issue I was having with the drama between GP and one of the favorite gamer gals that used to be associated with GP. Here's the thing: I don't really watch GP girls play. Watch girls play, pretty much what that was formerly known as, any more than than there was. There's only one person that I actually have the exception of watching who happens to be associated with GP, but there is actually an issue between that regarding one of the YouTubers known as Yandrea and then GP as well. The only issue is that there seems to be an abuse problem between that, according from what Drea was saying apart from GP. Now, I wanted to bear in mind that I don't really want to say names, but let's just say another person that I actually like it's the only reason why I will ever be anywhere close to GP, which the only part of Watch Girls Play that I will ever associate myself with is like the Drea, Kenzie, and Renee era. That's it. And if you don't know who these gals are, they're on Twitter. They're also on Twitch as well, so I would recommend that you check them out there. But you know, that's like causing too much noise. So the thing about this is that there's an issue going on, and I stated that I didn't want to be anywhere in between that sort of issue because I just feel like that would be kind of unfair. And it just sucks because that shit's been going on for a year, and I'm really hoping that shit dies down between that because that's been going on for a long time. That's sort of bullshitting if someone has to suffer between that. And I mean, I love them both to death. It's just I don't want to have to keep going through that, and it's tiresome. But other than that, it brings me again to that whole centrism thing I've been talking about. It seems like if you follow the centrism thing, pretty much you're going to get your ass chewed out by the left, or you're going to get your ass chewed out from the right, depending on which. And again, it leads me back into the bullshit thing because I got to suffer because because this is what I believe. I like to believe in a balanced set of rules, but it doesn't. But somehow that makes me a pansy for not wanting to choose sides, which sucks. Because it makes me feel like I'm forced to go to a side if someone tells me, well, no, then you're just pretty much being this kind of an asshole if you're not on this side, or you're pretty much just being a pussy because you're not on this side. It sucks. You know, that's the sort of shit that I have to deal with. And that's the sort of reflection that I have in regards to choosing between friendships. It's one of the most bullshit reasons or the bullshit scenarios to be torn apart in. It always happens. And you know sooner or later it's going to happen to you, and in some way you have to deal with it in one shape or form. If you don't do something about it like that, you'll pretty much end up, at the raw end of the stick between two parties rather than just dealing with one. That's what sucks. But again, it pretty much stems to the entire area. That's just being yourself. If you want to be yourself because of what you believe, then you shouldn't be punished for it. Okay? You could be a conservative. You can be a liberal. You could be a Republican or a Democrat. Doesn't make you necessarily the bad guy. Just like me being a centrist doesn't really make me a bad guy. Just because I believe in a balanced set of beliefs. And I know I don't want to get into politics here, but like I said, it reflects a little bit of the true nature of how like friendships are. It's kind of like how politics are when you're choosing between friends. It kind of feels like if you choose one friend for example, the left, pretty much the right for the other person, pretty much smacks you down for that. Or if you go the other way, it feels like the scales bend again and pretty much you're fucked. It's like you're fucked one end and then you're fucked the other. That's pretty much how that works. So, in that regard, I kind of like slow down on all that other shit because, ugh. Now, I've actually been on this for about 30 minutes and I'm already kind of like at a dead end for this point, but I'll try to keep it going because, like I said, I want to at least keep this to an hour. So what I recommend that you guys do, if there's any channels that I would actually like to give shout outs to, there's about 5 in particular that I will give shout outs to. If you know of Miss Cat Squad, that's going to be the first shout out I'm going to give out for. I recommend that you check out her channel. If you like gaming, if you also like a little bit of some, a little bit more family friendly type, that's one channel that I would recommend. Though she's very sweet, by the way. I recommend that you check her out. She's one of those calm level YouTubers that I do recommend, and it's also a good pacing to take your mind off stuff in case things get stressful. Another person I give a shout out to is going to be Rantern Shades. That's my homeboy. He's basically one of the main reasons how I built my channel up into how it is. Pretty much giving me the critique or the criticisms to help improve on making videos as that is. And also, I would also check out his videos too. He's actually got some good music reviews and also some good advice videos on there as well too. I wouldn't call them advice videos. I would call them more about more like his general topics. I say advice. He might actually still have some on his list, but there's that too. So I would check him out as well. And obviously, I would check out Some Guy 27, pretty much another homeboy of mine. I like his edginess. I like the way that he also doesn't really give a damn about what people think about him sometimes, and he's pretty much got that attitude. And that's another thing that kind of gets me rolling and kind of reflects how I feel with how he is, and pretty much he's helped me a lot too. And then on number 4, Official GATG, another guy who helped me get set up with a lot of stuff and pretty much reach out to other people, and pretty much was a good he's a good person in terms of a lot as a brother, as a content creator, as a musician, also pretty much as I guess I could say a freelance worker too, because he also happens to work on certain venues like 1,000 Tons of Metal. I would also ask him about that. If you actually have any, if you're looking for any musical branches or to branch out into musical areas, I would actually talk to Shades and I would talk to Official GATG about that. They also know, and Some Guy 87. They actually have their music stuff down on that notch there. Okay. And also, if you're also looking for some good reactions, I would also look up Tyrone Magnus. I butchered that name. I'm sorry, Tyrone Magnus, because there's good vibes that I sense from that dude. And when you look at reactions, you can tell there's a lot. And granted, some reactions may be serious, some reactions may be a little bit sad in some areas, but a lot of the times reactions are very funny. So I do recommend checking out Tyrone Magnus. Another person I will be inducting in the next YouTube Hall of Fame. He deserves that. In other words, there's actually 2 channels together. If you're looking up for Dragon Ball reaction videos, I would look up Prince Vegeta, and Bulma Bunny. Those are the 2 best channels to go to, and Savage Android 17. Those are other channels that I could recommend for those, because those are the top 3. I'm waiting for maybe a top 4. It would have to be either between Devil Artemis or Lord Frieza for that part. If I'd have to go with anything, I probably would have to go with Devil Artemis. So pretty much those are the big 4 of Dragon Ball Z reaction channels, or pretty much the character channels as well. So I would check those guys out. With that in mind, since I actually got the reaction channels and some of the ranting and commentary channels and gaming channels as well, so we got that covered. So with that in mind, if you guys have any questions, I'm willing to answer those too while we still have about 25 more minutes. So I'm going to give it a minute. If you have any questions, just feel free to lay them down right there, and then I'll try to move on to the next area. Oh, yes. next subject's going to be over what I got. So I'll give you guys a moment. Okay. Okay. I guess no questions. That's fine. Anyway, so I told you guys before that I've been doing stories, but I think it's also it's finally time I show exactly what these characters that I've been talking about were from DC. Now, so you guys may know that the DC universe, pretty much with Warner Brothers, kind of going down the shithole. But with the exception of Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa, those are pretty much the only two right now, in my own opinion, that I feel like are holding the DC universe up with strong arms. But with that regards, I've been spending a lot of more time with DC than I have with Marvel. But here's kind of the ironic thing to that. Marvel is always, in my own opinion, will always be the better of DC, in my own opinion. I don't mean that with any disrespect. I've just been spending more time with the DC universe because there was a game in particular, the DC Universe Online, that pretty much projected or pretty much expanded the idea to make my own character and to create a story out of it, which I have been creating a certain story out of. And I finally got pictures of certain characters that I created. Now, granted alone, this is the DC Universe Online's version of those that I've made, but I figured I'd give you the examples of what I got. Now, I'll start from like the top, and then you can pretty much see the names that are pretty much projected onto the piece of paper. So I'm going to slowly go up and just show. And then one more time. So, pretty much, sorry about that. Pretty much, those are pretty much the heroes that I've already made, and pretty much that's my own kind of league. I've assembled together like a league of 12 people, which I like to call the Resurgence Reborn, which is so cool. So the next one I want to show is pretty much another example of who my villains are, which I love this one so much. I love both of these. I'm just saying, on terms of villains, I like these. Now, with at least one or two of these, I wish I could have gotten a little bit more better on, but this is kind of like what I'm working on here. So I'm going to focus on the top again. This one happens to be my favorite of them all, but anyway. Pretty much going slowly up. Yeah, you're going to see an Easter egg of a certain individual. If you find out what it is, tell me in the live stream thing. So this is what I've been working on for a long time and trying to get the story for the DC universe. It's been taking me forever, but I've gotten a lot of things out of it that finally have been making it up. Having to grab a lot of that content off of DC Universe Online at PS4 was really difficult because there was a lot of things I wanted to do some decorations with and kind of give like the idea and descriptions of what the certain environment and certain places are. But I finally kind of like gotten some inspirations from games like God of War, Grand Theft Auto, The Warriors, the game itself, and pretty much there was one in particular, well, YouTube itself, because YouTube seems to also carry some certain colorful characters that pretty much bestow much platitude and gratitude as pretty much the equivalent of a skunk riding in horse manure. But that's the sort of idea that I'm doing. And I know this is kind of going downhill, but we still got 20 minutes left. So hope you guys are decorating for Halloween because I'm pretty much all set for Halloween. Only got two things to really much get things set up. Well, I got the ventriloquist dummy, but I also got this what do you call those? Oh, it's a collapsible casket or a collapsible coffin, and this is just perfect enough for Slappy Boy to be put into because I'm going to be wearing this mask and a tuxedo for the costume. But I'm trying to get myself set up for a fog machine and one of those demon dog houses to scare away trick or treaters and all that other stuff. I want the house to look scary. That is what I'm kind of focusing on with that in mind, being that it's only the 5th of October and we still have until like the very end, which we have plenty of time to do. But I had that in mind, and so it's just that sort of thing that I want to be prepared for because I actually want to be participating in Halloween again. The last two Halloweens, I didn't pretty much do it all because I was just depressed, you know, kind of being stuck in Las Vegas, obviously. But I wanted to kind of now just participate in Halloween, get back into the spirit of things and get back into it. Um, and with that in mind, because I really want to get my head off of, just away from some certain things that stress me out. And the fact that I'm planning a trip out in Georgia this January. So instead of October, it's going to be in January because certain things that I cannot talk about, just work wise, is pretty much preventing me from going out there. So in that sense, I'll have to plan the trip out some other time. But like I said, if there's anything, guys, you want me to talk about, I'd be more than happy to do that. It's pretty much what I'm here for. Still got about, 18 more minutes before I cut this off. So if there's anything you guys want to talk about, or same things with questions or anything, it's kind of like a cutoff point, but this will be like a last chance to do so. So. Guess not, but okay. Oh. Like I say, is this stream really boring? Hold on a sec. Maybe I might be able to help out after all. Okay. I know. I'm just trying to figure out. There's so many things I know I can talk about, but sometimes it leaves my mind. But let me just go here real quick. Type this in. This thing does not like to cooperate with me. It's weird. Oh, there it is. Okay, I was looking all over for that. Okay. All right. So trust me, with awkward silences, when I try to bund up a lot of things, I think next time what I'll do is I'll probably have a list of things to go down by, so that way it doesn't become awkward. But anyway, you know what? I think my co-host needs to come back in. And yes, I can tell. Creepy. Okay. What are you pointing at? What? Oh, the mic. Sorry. Thank you. Well, apparently my co-host knows when to spot mic issues. What? What are you pointing at? This right here? No, that adjusts the pitch. Oh, sorry. The stand. Okay. Just, he barely knows. Yes, I'm very creepy and I like it. But I think it's time we kind of take the mask off for the moment. But there. You know what? So once I get the suit for this should be a little bit more different. So that sort of thing that we have going on right there. Apparently, it was rushed to the hospital. Oh man. You know, Slappy, if you were actually a real ventriloquist dude, I would be able to actually kind of like play some tricks, but you don't have any sleeves and you don't actually have an open mouth. That's the only problem. The only thing you can really do at this point is point. What? What? What are you staring at me like that for? Damn. What? You want me to? Okay. Oh, okay. Well, there's a comment I didn't read. Yes. Yeah, I agree. I do agree very much. But you know what? I actually might use you from now on to help me point out some of my mistakes here. You know, for live streaming. And just watch his eyes turn if that ever happens. And that's the funny thing. He doesn't actually have any like socket to actually put your arm through. He's pretty much just like a display, like just a replica. That's what's so weird. And you know, at first when I actually bought Slappy, I thought at first I wasn't going to be able to sleep because I sat him in this chair, or actually I sat him in the other room across from my room, and I had the door shut. I was going to see like, oh, okay, let's see if any like creepy shenanigans go on, which so far has not ever happened. I mean, he's been sitting in this chair for about over 2 weeks and still nothing. So pretty much just because he's a good replica, and it's pretty good. But, you know, I'm probably going to be collecting a little bit more than just Slappy. There's a bit of some Goosebumps memorabilia that I want to actually go back and collect over again. I know back in the day when Taco Bell in the 90s was selling a lot of that Goosebumps stuff, that was the sort of stuff I was interested in. That was the shit to be involved in. You know what, Slappy, I'm sorry, but you're like taking up a lot of room, and it's like hard to pretty much keep up. I think you're like more easier like over here because they can see you a whole lot better. So I didn't even make that noise either. That was creepy. Could be worse. I could be holding a Chucky doll, so there's that. You know what? That's not a bad idea. I might actually get him his own chair. I know if it's weird, I can like if I stare at him for so long, I kind of feel like he'll come alive and he'll probably, you know, just strangle the crap out of me. It's weird. Got the same kind of looking chin too, only except mine's got like facial hair and shit. But Slappy happens to be one of my favorite villains from Goosebumps, and I never figured after all this time that I would actually have Slappy in my own house. I mean, granted, when I pretty much had the books, you know, he looked exactly like this. I kind of wish that they actually had that as the replica. I know they have replicas that look a little bit similar to this, but it doesn't look exactly as creepy as the mask. So I figured that would kind of be something a little bit beneficial to that. And, you know, it would be kind of cool. With that in mind, there's a lot more stuff that I could be showing off, but I just figured it'd be kind of cool at this point. But Slappy here. Ooh, actually, can you send me the story on that if there's a link to that for like an actual cursed doll in real life? Because I would really love to touch up on that subject. I would actually want to read it. But Slappy here is part of the family now, and so I'm kind of glad he's aboard. Slappy, old buddy pal, is there anything that you pretty much, I don't know, pretty much want to point out, like anything I'm doing wrong before I kind of like get back into shit? I don't know. What are you doing? Okay, look here. Let me. You're just making it more awkward as it is. Is there anything you want to pretty much show? Anything else? Why are you pointing to the camera? Are you pointing to the audience? What are you doing? Well, okay, I'm just gonna set you down then. Okay. Believe me, once I actually have like an actual good live show, believe me, Slappy, it'll be worth it. But for right now, I guess you can just lay it down for the moment. It's fine. I don't know. I try to make something work, but we'll have to work on the whole detail. Okay, so that's going on right there. Robert is on. Robert. Actually, I want to type that up right now. Ooh, and it comes up. East Martello Museum. In Florida. Okay, well, that pretty much, I'm interested now. Wow. Tell a quick story about Robert. Other than being a cursed doll? Hmm. Well, from what I'm reading about this, he was owned by what an author and a painter. That's what I'm pretty much what I'm. That's what I'm reading up upon, which is pretty weird. So it makes giggling sounds, changes facial expressions, which. So voodoo figurines are pretty much associated with this particular doll. Wow. So okay, so car accidents, broken bones, job loss, divorce, and cornucopia of other misfortunes. For failing to respect Robert. Wow. Holy crap. Well, good thing I'm not in that museum. Okay, so there's technically currently a modern Robert film, which is based in 2015, and all the way right now, there's one that leads up to a 2018 adaptation film for that. That's pretty dope. Uh, well, this is kind of scary because it says in October 2015 the doll was taken to Las Vegas, where I am, to appear on the Travel Channel television program Zach Bagans' Mystery Mansion. That doll better not be here in Vegas still. Oh crap. Because if it is, I'm screwed. So that's pretty much the quick story right there. Okay, well, if he's not, then that's good. But being that he was in Las Vegas, that's pretty damn scary. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're about 5 minutes out. So I'm gonna wrap up. Final chance, everyone. If you got questions, it doesn't really matter what they are. I don't care if they're insult statements. Go ahead and throw them out. Guys, got 5 minutes before we end the stream off. I'm gonna put Slappy's mask back on because once Halloween's over, I mean, this mask is gonna stay on. But if you got any questions, anything, feel free to throw them. Oh gosh! Now there's a live stream of one of the individuals I was talking about. I gotta see what this is going on too. So once these 4 minutes are up, I'm gonna go see what all the shenanigans is about. Oh, it's not a live stream. It's actually just a file that was sent to me. Oh, okay. Well, this has been a fine, entertaining stream as it is. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for advice of how to make some kind of make like a pre kind of show before this kind of happens, so that way we do something and find a way to pretty much do um what was it? Let's see. Oh yeah, that's the send links. Still trying to see how this is. Toggle timestamps. It might have something to do with the encoder. I'm not entirely sure. Okay. So, because I want to figure out how to like share like the screen to show like what I'm looking at, so that way you guys can see it with me while I'm doing the stream. So that way it's not boring you to death. That way, when we do something like when we do reactions or whatnot, it kind of helps us out. You know, kind of makes it a little bit more entertaining. Let's see. And thank you, by the way, Chelsea. Thank you for the link. Okay. All right, 2 minutes left. 2 minutes. All right. So, any last means or any last minutes for the ending? If I have any advice for any of you guys, like I said, if you guys talk to a girl, man, a girl turns you down, don't be a dick, don't be an asshole, be a gentleman, be respectful. If a woman does not want to do something that you want her to do, do not push yourself even further. Don't be an asshole, and again, be a gentleman, be nice, and be kind. Okay. So that's really all I wanted to say. Also, if you got cancerous assholes that are pretty much just trying to barge their way back into your life, block them out of your life for good. You don't owe them anything. They will not give you the expectations that you want them to meet. Okay? They will let you down and they will do that shit to you over and over again. Find people that you can actually talk to, find people that you can associate and trust with that pretty much will not let you down. Don't let other people like that come back into your life and make your life a living hell. Trust me, people like myself and others know, and so that way it's more beneficial to you guys. I don't want any one of my subscribers or anyone of my viewers or my heroes hurt. So I say this to you with open arms and with a friendly, good tone of advice to just be careful who you associate with, be careful who you talk to, be careful of how you approach people, because some people will not take the certain tone a certain way of other people do. Anyways, this has been my live stream. We're about 17 seconds in. So at this time, I just want to say thank you very much, anyone, or people that came out to watch my live stream. Thank you guys very much for coming out, watching me, and having to put up with me. So you guys have a very wonderful day and a very wonderful night. Peace out.